Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's the day after Thanksgiving and my tree is going up. It's actually October 18th and yeah, my tree's been up for a while by the time you're seeing this. I'm doing a voiceover because my audio was total crap. I don't know what happened. It was terrible. This is my 7.5 foot flock tree from last year that we relit. I'm gonna try to link the video up above. It looks pretty good. I didn't really smash it in the box too bad, so it didn't need a tremendous amount of fluffing. It needed some, obviously, because you're never going to get the trees back in the box the way they came, but it wasn't too bad. It did lose a little bit of flocking from taking the ornaments off last year and storing it, and every year the flocking yellows a little bit. This tree is actually a couple years old. My friend Cindy bought it for me. I don't know. It was a while ago. So it's a little yellow. It's a little patchy. Not in the greatest shape, but I'm going to cover it all up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It was from Walmart. This is like I think it's like $140. Mine has LED lights on it because I replaced all of them, but, you know, cheap tree. Don't buy an expensive one if you're just going to cover it with a bunch of stuff. I'm actually going to go in and touch up some of the flocking with some of this Santa snow. Throw off my white balance like crazy, but we're dealing with it. I thought I had another can of this. I only had one, but it was fine. This stuff is not designed to flock an entire tree. Like if you buy a green tree, I wouldn't try to flock an entire tree with this. For like touch-ups, it's fine. If you're doing a wreath, it's fine. I don't like spraying inside my house. It says it's made for indoor use, so I guess that's okay. I don't know. It's something about like, it goes everywhere, it makes a mess. So I'm just kind of concentrating on the spots where there is like a lot of green or a lot of dingy looking flock. And I'm doing quick bursts. I don't want to go and like spray it like I'm like just like that. I don't want to do that. You don't want to spray it like you're spraying hairspray or something like that. You just want to do some quick shots wherever it needs it. And you have to be prepared to let this dry, because if you start working with it when it's wet, it's just going to like get on your fingers. It's going to get everywhere. It's disgusting. I changed my curtains to match my tree this year, something I probably should have done after I did this, but I didn't really get any on there. And I'm spraying right over the lights. They kind of shine through the flock, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, there's a little bit of overspray, but if you just let it dry on the curtains or wherever you get it, let it dry however long it takes, and then it'll just kind of flake off. See, I had a can of this left over. I thought there were 2 cans. There were only one. I probably could have used the second can just to get a little bit more coverage, but I was happy with it when I was done. So I think I'm going to back up in a second and show you guys what it looks like with just the top done as opposed to the whole thing done, because the bottom is not done, so you can kind of see where it's the flocking is a lot lightly applied instead of, lighter in color, which you can kind of see right now. I hate that I have to do a voiceover for this, but see that bottom section that I haven't sprayed yet? It's still pretty green, and I want to kind of, get rid of that. I was hoping that if I let it dry overnight, I could go out the next day and find some snow. They didn't have this anywhere. I don't know. The next day after my tree was done, they had like 1,000 cans at Walmart, but when I went to go get it, there was none. So we made do. That's what we do. And you can see there's a bunch of little shims underneath there it is on the curtains. A bunch of little shims underneath my tree. I have never been able to get this tree straight, no matter where it's at in my house. It's been in 2 different rooms, a bunch of different spots. It just will not go straight. And I've just given up. I'm just like, all right, whatever. Let's hope for the best. And see, you can get a really heavy coverage on this. It doesn't last long enough for me to want to like do a whole tree. Like if I want a heavy flock tree, I'm going to buy a heavy flock tree. And this one, if I want it a little lighter next year, I can take it outside and just shake the hell out of it. Or, go run through it with a little hand broom. Like the ones that come on dustpans to just kind of knock some of that flocking off. If I want it a little lighter, want it heavier next year, I can add some more. But yeah, so you can see now the bottom is all even and it looks pretty good. It's going to have to dry overnight, mostly because of the humidity down here. I mean, maybe you can get it to dry in a couple of hours. Not sure. Not sure where you live. And of course, you know, after I do all this, I'm like, this is not fluffed up at all. Like, this looks just like somebody sat on it. So yeah, I touched it. It's wet on my hands. It just kind of smashes into the tree. So don't mess with it until it's dry. So yeah, now I'm going to get this 18-foot deco mesh garland in there, and you've seen how that's made. It's a feat to get it in the tree, but I managed to do it and film it one-handed, so I'm pretty proud of myself for that. But yeah, I'm going to leave this here for the night, and then I'm going to come back the next day after everything is nice and dry and has had time to set, and we'll get going. This is the garland just kind of draped around the tree. It's one big section, but I cut it into 3 smaller sections to wrap around the tree just because I didn't want to be dealing with a whole 18-foot section of this, trying to get it around this tree that was already wobbly, that already had, you know, some fleeting flocking on it. So I cut a small section for the top that wrapped around. I'm going to show you how to do the second section, and then there's a bottom section. So that started at the back to become part of my tree topper, and then it kind of came around. And I'm going to keep everything on that same angle, which I guess is about a 45, you know. This is my middle piece. I've already measured it, so I know how big it needs to be. No idea what I'm talking about. I hate that I have to do a voiceover. But I think what I'm saying here is that I have this big garland in the tree now, and it separates the sections I have to decorate into that top section, which that whole top section above the garland becomes a tree topper. The middle section and the bottom section become places to place ornaments. So it's not like you're having to decorate a whole tree. You're really just having to decorate 2 smaller sections instead of a whole 7.5-foot tree or 12-foot tree, whatever. So I'm just getting this placed where I want it to go right now. And again, I think this would be a lot easier if you weren't trying to hold the camera with one hand. So the top is kind of tucked in. These 2 are just on top. I don't like that. I thought that looked terrible. I was like, no. I had planned on pushing them in all the way, but I didn't know they would be that bad on the surface. So I'm just kind of pushing them in because I don't want it sitting on top. Like, I just think that looked terrible. So I'm pushing it in. I'm pulling some of the branches around it, not really to hold it, just to kind of get it to look a little bit more cohesive, so it doesn't look like something that's just on top of the tree. I want it to look like something that's a part of the tree. So I'm like tucking and then fluffing and turning some stuff. And even just that couple of minutes of just kind of poking around with one hand, it already looks a lot better compared to that piece on the bottom. That just looks like I stood across the room and threw it on there. It's a start. All right, so this is everything all tucked in. The top looks the best because I can most easily reach that. So the top of my trees always look fantastic. And then, you know, the closer you get to the bottom, you're like, what, did you give up? And yeah, I did, because my back always hurts. So this is just kind of tucked in. That looks a little, I'll probably end up fixing that at the bottom because that looks a little pointy out. So see, we just have that section near the top, like the second section, the third section, and then a little section underneath that bottom row of garland that you can't really see. Is off screen right now. Yeah, that section, this section, and then a little bit down here. I just think it's more manageable than being like, okay, I have this huge cone to do. Now I just have these little sections. How many times am I going to say section? Today's video is brought to you by section.com. Don't go there. I don't know what that is. God only knows. God only knows. Say I like this, and I'll be able to, after the holidays, take some of this apart and use it in wreaths. Like these bows. I made a bunch of bows because I don't like looping a bunch of ribbon through. It's just not me. I've never liked that. So I made some bows to break up the line of the garland, I guess is the best way to explain it, because you see, I mean, that garland is definitely in lines down the tree. But if I add a bow here and add a bow there, it infringes on the undecorated section a little bit to, you know, make it a little bit more cohesive again. And I think I ended up, these are mostly like funky bows, terry bows. There's 3 or 4 different ribbons in them. They're all kind of different bows. I was just like, let me just make what I can with what I have. And they just kind of went wherever I wanted to break up some space. And I think I ended up using maybe 9. And they're 6-inch bows. So again, once Christmas is over and I take this tree down, those bows will probably go directly into wreaths for next year. So I don't have to worry about storing them. They will go into a wreath. I will put the wreath into a shipping box, and I will stack the shipping box up somewhere. And when it sells on Etsy, when it sells through Instagram, when it sells wherever, it'll be ready to go. And it won't take up space. Hanging on my door, hanging on my wall, hanging on my ceiling. Won't get dusty because it'll be in a box. So these are just, I'm just kind of placing these now. I do go back and wire them, and they're just on there with some pipe cleaners. I'm having a day, y'all. It's election day. I have election anxiety coupled with regular anxiety, coupled with I just got over the hurricane anxiety. My cable isn't even back on yet. There's a lot going on for me today. And I'm sick, so I'm drinking soup. There's a puppy. I don't know what he's doing there. He doesn't even have thumbs. He can't even help. I'm explaining something. Don't know what it is. Why have I not tucked that in yet? Look at him. Sir. Sir. You can't be doing that in here. Sir. Business. Business dog. He's... Oh. Look at him. He's beautiful, huh? Almost as pretty as my tree. Looks good, right? Maybe we should throw some more crap on it and see what happens. I wonder what's next. You're going to be as surprised as I am because I have no idea. Okay, so all the bows are on now. They are wired. They are secure. They are about the only thing on this tree that is secure because everything else I just kind of shoved in there. I'm not big on ornaments, like hanging them, because if I hang an ornament in a tree, that means I eventually have to unhook it. I have to do all this. I'm not into that. After Christmas is over, I hit like the most major depressive cycle of the year, and I'm just like, ugh, I don't feel like doing anything. So I'm putting in my ornament clusters now. We made these in a video. I think it was Christmas in July. It might have been before that. I thought I had more of these. I thought I had like 10 of them. I only had 4. I maybe ended up finding another one for like 5. I know I have more. I don't know where they're at. My house is just... It's in shambles. My life is in shambles. Everything. These were supposed to go vertically, but I just kind of like, I put them in and I was like, I just kind of like them as sprays. Like it's just following that same line that we set up with the deco mesh garland. I just kind of like the way it looks. So that's how I decided to stick them in there. And they're just going in just like picks. I'm going to link the video. So if you want to make some of these, you can. These are all ornaments from Michael's. They have, I think it's like 100 and... It's like 100 or so in one of those big skinny tubes. I got them last year. Either right before Christmas or right after. It was when the Christmas stuff was like 70% off. See, I really did think I had a lot more of those, but I did not. And look at him. He thinks that's a place for him to sleep. You don't know what he's at, though. And I don't have my tree topper up yet. I made a bow. There's a video. We'll get to it eventually. I don't know why I waited. That should have been the first thing up after the garland, but I was like, no, let me decorate this whole tree and then try to get like on top of it. So these are my clusters. There's not many of them. There should have been more. I would like for there to be more, but really there's no more room on the tree. By the time I was done, I was like, I'll eventually find those and enter the tree. I never did find them, and I don't think there's room anymore anyway, so. But I know I made a bunch of them. Just like I made a bunch of these. These are my Dollar Tree pool noodle candies, covered with the shrink wrap. I have, I'm gonna say about, 10-ish of these. They're just supposed to look like giant peppermint sticks, and I am just sticking them in the tree. Don't know where yet, just kind of going all, oh, right there? Yeah, that looks good. And I put the seam on the back because there is a seam where the glitter foam kind of meets up. So I have a lot of these. I'm working from my biggest pieces down to my smallest, and I guess these are technically bigger than the ornament clusters, but the ornament clusters take up more space, so they're bigger, I guess. These are like my big statement ornaments this year. And there's a bunch of them. I had so much stuff left over too. I ended up making an entire wreath that you'll see next month. All out of leftover ornaments. Like the whole wreath is an ornament wreath. And I still have probably enough to do a whole other Christmas tree. I buy way too much. I'm not going to do that this year. Like I refuse to. Yeah, mine are red and white. You can do these in any color you wanted. They just look like big candies. And I found these signs in my Christmas box. I don't know where they came from. They didn't stay in the tree. I don't know why. Like, they were okay, but the red was not the red I wanted. Like, see, the red looks a little warm. It looks a little orange, so I think that's why I ended up not using them. Let me take a drink break before I pass out from taking too many soup breaks. I think this is the only thing I'm reusing from last year's tree. I got these at Michael's. They're just like a little snowy picks. They were like 79 cents. I like adding stuff like this in here just to break up that cone shape of the tree. Yeah, there's a little bit coming out here. We'll put a little bit there. It's not like a great big giant pick, but it gives it a little airiness, which I like. I'm all over the place. What am I doing? Today's video is sponsored by Dramamine. I also have these giant ornaments that I got from Goodwill. And it was like, I don't know, it was a weird time. It wasn't like anywhere near Christmas time. It wasn't like, I don't know, it was like June, something like that. And I had no reason to buy these, and I was like, I'm getting them. They were like 99 cents each. They have the flat disc, I have some rounds, and I have some kind of teardrop shapes. And I am just going to take those and just kind of shove them in where they need to go. I think I hang a couple. Do I? Is anything hanging on this tree yet? Oh yeah, see the kind of teardrop ones are hanging. And everything else is just shoved in there. Because that's the kind of decorator I am. I'm shoving it in there because if I shove it in there, that means I can just pull it off. And look, there's still no tree topper. I refuse to. It's mostly because I knew I was going to do a bow. And, I have not had the greatest luck with bows so far. Not so far. Lately, I've just been a wreck with the bows. These were from Walmart last year. I got them when Christmas went to 90% off. I don't care. I think they're cute. They're fine. I don't want the green because I wanted the tree to be all red and white. So I'm going to take the leaves and just kind of bend them up. And instead of hanging them in the tree, guess what? I'm just going to shove them in there with just the red and the white showing. And I have these that have the 8 pieces of white on them. And I have some that just have 4. They're a little bit smaller. Yeah, see, so those leaves on wires. I'm just going to put them in there like that. And if you're wondering, like, hey, why doesn't he just buy a tripod? Why doesn't he set the tripod up and decorate? Like, no. I don't know what I was wearing when I'm doing this. I am sure it was a hole with a bleach stain. It was a shirt with a hole and a bleach stain and, like, I don't know, barbecue sauce on it or something. Pajama pants that kept falling down. You know, I make things pretty, but I don't like to look pretty when I'm doing it. So this is a bunch of stuff that still has to go on this tree, and I'm realizing now that it ain't happening. Alright, so where are we at now? All my felt ball things with the hollies on there. Is that the first time the nutcracker showed up? Where did he come from? Creepy bastard. I actually really like him. I got him from CVS 2 years ago, maybe? Last year? My friend Jessica. We went there to pick up a prescription for me or something, and I had one of those, you know, it was on sale, and I had a coupon, and it was like $40. I think I ended up getting it for $20. So I had some Sequin Balls that I got from Dollar General. These are the, like the spear balls we made right at the beginning of quarantine. I'm not linking that video because I'm crying the whole time, and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Listen, you're going to survive. It's going to be horrible and terrible, and it's going to get worse. And it's going to continue to get worse. And then it's going to get a little bit worse. But then maybe tomorrow it'll be better. We don't know. And those were the big balls from Dollar Tree, the ones that get glitter everywhere. These are from Family Dollar a couple of years back. It looks like cracked glass, but that's like a netting over it. And I was going to take it off, but then I was like, eh. And these are the Sequin Balls. I don't know if I mentioned those earlier, but they're cute. I think they were 4 in a pack for like $3. I had to go all around to Dollar General's, clear them out. Sorry if anybody else wanted red and white sequin ball ornaments, but they're on my tray. And they're about to be everywhere because I bought way more than I should have, which is the theme of this year's Christmas. And it was also last year's Christmas and the year before that. So I'm just like, yeah, let me cover this. Let me cover up most of the camera with my hand. Get that in there. Pull this out because it's like leaning sideways. There's a lot of stuff that happens in between me doing the tree and me finally like taking pictures of the tree. Like there was a lot of stuff that moved around. So yeah, this tree might look, it doesn't look completely different, but I definitely went through and was like, okay, I don't like this here. I don't like this there. I don't like my finger in the way. So yeah, these went in the tree really well because they had like the little netting on that and it just kind of grabbed. There's the dog. He's trying to help again. He's like, where did this nutcracker come from? CVS. And so yeah, I just need to make my tree topper and surprise, it's gonna be done right about now because the tree's done. And when we pan up, where is it? Come on. Why are you so slow? This was filmed after the hurricane and I still had ornaments to add, but I was like, screw it. I was like, I'm done. I was like, I am so over everything. At this point, I had been like 5 days without power. I still don't have internet. I was done. There's still space, I guess, if I wanted to really work on it. I don't. It's pretty. My mom saw it. She was like, it's pretty. My sister saw it. She's pretty. Nobody else will see it. Like this is y'all are the only people that are seeing this. That big Let It Snow sign was $8 from Dollar General. I have some presents that are already wrapped. I put my nutcracker up. It was supposed to be a like nutcracker, peppermint, gingerbread. I didn't finish my gingerbread ornaments. Whatever. I don't care at this point. That's a Michael sign I got from a grab bag. The other big North Pole signs from a grab bag. I don't know where the curtains are from. And I think I'm just going to go through and just kind of show off some of the ornaments to make sure we know where everything's from. That's Walmart and Craft Outlet ribbon. Deco Meshes, Craft Outlet. The sequin ornaments are Dollar General. Those are my Goodwill ornaments. The pool noodle ornaments we made and the Walmart ornaments. Let's see, big glitter balls from Dollar Tree. My mouth is making weird noises. Ornament clusters. They make, I mean, if you have time, to make those ornament clusters, they make such a big impact. I have a bunch of these red and silver reflector ornaments, no idea where they're at. I'm going to find a red and silver box. I'm cleaning my house now, like, just because I've had it, and, you know, I've been without power for the past couple of days, so I'm like, what am I going to do in my house? It's freezing outside. I'm trying to do a lot of things at once, which is probably why I'm so tired. More than usual. And the bow is just, I think it's 13 different ribbons. You've seen the video. I'm going to link it up above again. Hopefully I've already linked it. I hate that bow right there that's underneath that ornament. It's just like one ribbon, and it looks terrible. I hope I ended up moving that before I took the final pictures, but knowing me, I probably didn't. But yeah, I'm super happy. My tree skirt is just a piece of red wool suiting fabric. I have some presents in the other room I have to move in here, but I have to be careful because the dog thinks those are his presents in his bathroom. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Look at him, absolutely useless, but beautiful. Look at him. He's like, I love my tree. He likes to go underneath there and eat his bone with his butt sticking out. All right, so here are just some nice, pretty pictures. I can't believe that sign was only $8. It was so nice. And it's big. It's like 5 feet, I think. I had it hanging. I ended up just leaning it because I was like, whatever. This is a full-size picture of the tree on the left. And a little close-up of my nutcracker. And then a different view on the right with a close-up of the tree. And then the full picture of the nutcracker with the tree. I was going to repaint him because I was like, I don't know about this blue. Like, I wanted it to be all red and white. But now, you know, if I had painted him red and white, I wouldn't be able to use him for anything else. Like, he would have been done. But I like him like that. I think he looks good. And he's like the tree guard. There's my giant bow. What a mess. But, it did its job. And there's just a little shot of the tree. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Any questions, just pop them down below and I'll do my best to answer. Thanks for watching. Bye.